Bugatti W16 Mistral.
Hi guys, I'm Shmi, hello and welcome back to the channel where you join me today for a first look at the global debut and unveiling of the new Bugatti Mistral. Named after a wind in France that blows to the south down the River Rhone, the Mistral is a permanently open-topped car that follows in the footsteps of La Voiture Noire, the Divo and W16 as the latest special edition from Bugatti, perhaps a last hurrah to the W16. Well, the covers are about to be pulled back here at Quail, a motorsports gathering during Car Week in California 2022, and we're going to get our first look at the brand new Bugatti Mistral. Here on the stand then, the car is awaiting reveal. We're going to be seeing all of the action as the covers are pulled back and then go and have a close look at it as well. But we can see that distinct silhouette, familiar in some ways, but notice that chopped off roofline. This is a full open-topped car. Bugatti have never made a Chiron Roadster despite the repeated cries. This is a car that will fill that space. Open-top motoring with their fabulous W16 engine. A last hurrah perhaps before the next generation, the full successor we could say to the Chiron. And I think we can tell that is going to be the power plant in question given what we're seeing right there. The 8-litre quad-turbo W16, expect about 1,600 horsepower. It's believed to be just shy of 100 cars, but we've seen a few teasers as to the design. Expect along the lines of the Divo and the W16, real wild, extravagant design, some headlights with 4 stripes, a tail light that reminds us of the Bolide, the track-only special car that Bugatti have made with a large X, and many more details that are going to be unveiled to us all very shortly here from the Bugatti stand to see the new Mistral.
The CEO of Bugatti Rimac, Monterey Car. This is quite an emotional day for us. Basically, the hypercar era was started with the Bugatti Veyron, but to make that possible, Bugatti had to develop a really unique engine, the W16. We didn't want to limit the power. The performance of the W16, being an open rooftop car, we wanted still to achieve the top speed of 420 kilometers per hour or 260 miles per hour with an open rooftop with this car. Bugatti W16 Mistral.
And there it is, presented in a traditional Bugatti colour scheme, the black with truffle brown accents, the yellow details, those headlights as I mentioned, the familiar horseshoe grille up front. Look at this, cut off roofline. There's a lot for us to explore and take in on the W16 Mistral, the last hurrah of that W16 engine, and what a way to do it. All sold out prior to this moment of introduction. 99 cars with the 1,600 horsepower iteration of that famous engine, peak engine, as Monterey Car said in his introduction just there. Wowzers. Well, the sun is out and the Bugatti W16 Mistral is presented here in all its glory. We're going to have a walk around to go through this new car, the last hurrah, as they were saying, to this quad-turbo 8-litre W16, the last car before we have a new generation, a new era of Bugatti models. Now, the big talking point here is, of course, the absence of the roof. Bugatti always said that they would not make a Chiron Roadster, but this joins their few off-series cars. It's been re-engineered to include this open-top experience to give the final celebration for that W16 engine. There will actually be a fabric soft-top contraption that can be stowed away, tucked away in the storage, which we'll see more of in the future. Now, this particular car is presented in this black paintwork over the yellow accents, the yellow leather contrast for the interior, the yellow brake calipers, and a couple of other touches like in the headlights of the Mistral logo, for example, which is synonymous with the Tourer Bugatti's cars back from the time, often choosing black and yellow specifications, always for some of the most iconic Bugatti models. As we come round towards the rear of this, look at the design back here, that X for the tail light that runs the full width, this large diffuser with the exhaust tailpipes in the center. But I want to focus up here on the rear deck. You have the ram air intakes over your head, which means you will have the most tremendous intake sound from the driving experience and passenger experience in this car as it pulls the air in for the cooling of that engine. Left exposed, as we've seen in other Bugatti models, being able to see the top sections, the 1,600 horsepower designation there, the ultimate iteration of this power plant, encompassed by this full exposed carbon fiber surround section. In fact, the whole bodywork is carbon fiber, the carbon fiber monocoque as well for the car, full carbon as you would expect for such a thing, but in this case painted in this dark black paintwork with the silver accents and those yellow details, as I mentioned, all around. Now I want to dive into it in a lot more detail to show you all through this. So where do we begin? Let's head round to the very front of the car and touch on some of the design elements here. It's drawing quite a crowd, as you can imagine. But if we pop down here, notice the horseshoe grille, a very familiar element in the design of any Bugatti model, but even lower and even wider than we've seen before. It seems to constantly change towards those proportions, giving a sporty presence, a sporty dynamic, the splitter that pulls forward down towards the bottom, all of the cooling that comes through these various grills for the radiators that are behind, the headlights, a distinctive feature of any car, the eyes of the car, the first thing that you see, and like on the Devo, something that changes and breaks away from the norm with these quad elements. The 4 elements to represent the 4-wheel drive, the 4 turbochargers, and to give you that feeling linking through towards the 4x4 of the 16 cylinders in the engine. So you have these with the running lights, you have that Mistral logo integrated underneath the glass up top with the yellow designation for that, just giving a final touch of detail. And underneath the headlights, you'll notice this intake area as well for the cooling, for the airflow to be managed to go straight through the car. And I also quite like that floating Bugatti emblem that you have worn at the front, the heritage style Bugatti logo worn right there. As we come around towards the side of the car, spot the new wheel design that we have here, the carbon fiber ceramic brakes right behind it. We've got the wheel design with the very large yellow calipers present, the EV logo in the center of those, shod in the Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2R tyres. Interestingly, Cup 2Rs are the even more track-focused tyre, and perhaps surprised by that for an open experience, but giving it plenty of grip once the tyres have temperature in them, once they're up to temps and ready to be driven in anger. So I'd love to see one of these out on a track at some point. Down here you can see the exposed carbon actually for these lower sections of the sills, the exposed gloss carbon and the exposed satin carbon with the colours of the French flag, the blue, white and red that we often see adorning different Bugatti models. But obviously the shapes here giving a lot of sporty intent, and even these intakes back here reminiscent to me of the cars like the Devo with this higher lift as opposed to the full C that we know from the Chiron that was introduced a short while back. Some elements like on the fuel filler caps here, this embossed EB logo, the Ettore Bugatti logo, and obviously your coolers here, all with this fantastic grille. Wherever you look, the grills and the meshes finished to the highest level. We've got some very sharp lines to the design, emphasizing some of that sportiness, this shoulder line that runs over the front wings and tucks in towards those vents as it comes down the side of the car as well. And then, like I mentioned earlier, all of this exposed carbon over the rear deck with that very nice V line that runs across the middle towards that engine, which we'll also go and check out in more detail with the exposed display that we have just over towards that side, which Mate Rimac suggested we should do during the opportunities to see it here at the Quail. Let's come and have a peek at the interior then. Very familiar in many ways from other Bugatti models like the Chiron, for example, the Devo, 110, but this time with the dual tone of the black and the yellow and a few special details and insignias and things. For example, if you look at the seats, that stripe that runs through the base and up the backrest with the checker pattern. You see the Mistral embroidery on the headrests, these sports seats that we have in here, lots of carbon fibre all the way, including wrapped around the dashboard sections, those familiar anodized toggles up through the centre, and the shifter for the 7-speed dual clutch gearbox, a dashboard that goes to 500 kilometers an hour, 300 miles per hour, because of course this is the engine shared with that found in the Chiron Super Sport 300 plus, the car that actually has gone 304.77 miles per hour. In this case, who knows at this stage what it will set, but potentially the world's fastest convertible. Right here, who knows exactly when you take that power plant, take off the roof, save some weight perhaps in the process, entirely sure, and create something overall. I also spot the gold on the shifter, the chrome elephant. Oh, that's cool. That's always been a Bugatti symbol. You spot the elephant there inside the gearbox in that translucent compartment there at the front of the gear shifter, I should say, sorry. And then this very low cut windshield. In fact, as I step back, look at the rake that you have on the glass, that wraparound over the top, and those very low cut side windows as well. It's a very impressive design, as we've always come to expect from Bugatti models. We can't not come and take a look at this, given the W16 has been at the heart of every modern Bugatti, all the way since the Bugatti Veyron back in 2005, through the different iterations of the Veyron, through the Chiron, through La Voiture Noire, Divo, 110, Bolide, and now of course in the new car as well. What we're looking at here is a behemoth of an engine. You have your quad turbos, the turbochargers, beautifully presented, the gearbox mounted to this 8-litre lump, and it's going to be very exciting to see what Bugatti do for the next generation of their powertrain. Of course, up top, as you see in the car, this wonderful presentation, all of the carbon fibre elements over the top of it. Just a work of art, to be honest. And even if, like myself, you don't know the full ins and outs and workings of such a thing, to be able to feast your eyes over it is special. To see everything that's going on here, all the little elements and design details about it all. Truly a masterpiece when it comes to the internal combustion engine. There really are some great details to this. The Bugatti W16 Mistral, the W16 in the name to give tribute to that engine. When we're standing here, for example, this brace that runs across between the two induction scoops, which also, by the way, act as your rollover protection. Of course, compulsory for homologation, for registration, and interestingly, given that nearly half of the 99 cars, 48 in fact of the 99, are for the United States, it will be fully homologated, fully registered. It's not just on the usual show and display route that a lot of manufacturers take when it comes to more exclusive few-off type models, but all 99 were spoken for, all 99 were sold, all 99 contracts were signed prior to the covers coming off earlier today here at Quail, which is remarkable and very impressive, particularly with the high demand in the United States, which follows really from the success of the Chiron Super Sport, which was also hugely popular out in the American market. A very, very special thing. I love that detail of the dancing elephant and that amber insert on the gear shifter. Very, very special to have been able to see it here today with the full reveal of the Bugatti W16 Mistral at Quail. It's amazing to see how Quail has become the launching ground for so many cars like this. It's really expanding in this new world, a new opportunity to get up close and personal like we have today with a car that really brings to a close this incredible chapter, this iconic W16 engine that we've seen for nearly 2 decades now, as it's gone from the original 1001 horsepower all the way to 1600 horsepower as we have it in this named W16 Mistral, aptly including that W16 moniker within the name, and of course with the open experience, the Mistral being the wind that you have in France that blows north to south down the River Rhone. I think it's wonderful. I can't wait to see it in many different colour schemes. 5 million euros net of taxes. We're talking 6 million euros or so, including taxes over in Europe, but all 99 cars, as I said, completely sold out. That's it for now though, for a first full look at Bugatti's new introduction, the W16 Mistral, live here from Quail, a motorsports gathering 2022. That's it for this time though. Thank you very much for watching as always, and I'll see you with plenty more from this year's Quail, so stay tuned for that very soon. Cheers!